So you wanted me to play VGC? Well, here it is. I'm playing VGC. How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video. Today we're going to be tackling the Regulation D series for the VGC scene. This is a team built by Kafkafoon from the Discord server. So go ahead and join the Discord server. It is the best place to go for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Wi-Files right now. There is a link in the description down below. And with that being said, let's get into the first battle. And our first opponent is Amnesty, which has got a Hydreigon, a Skeledirge, Iron Valiant, Tyranitar, Lucario, and a Fluttermane. Pretty awesome looking team. Pretty solid. Our team's pretty powerful in its own right. I figured, you know what, if I'm getting used to this, I'm still getting used to the VGC scene. Like, I haven't played it in a while. So I figured I'd go all out and have like a really powerful team instead of like lesser Musemons. But it's cool to see like Chi-Yu and Chien-Pao again. So I'm looking at their team and I'm thinking Chi-Yu's going to put some work in if we get rid of that T-Tar. We can do some work there. We can get rid of the Skeledirge with this. We can also outspeed and KO the Hydreigon potentially. We can also get the Lucario. The Fluttermane's going to be a difficult one to tackle. But we should be alright. If we bring Chien-Pao, we'll be good. So I think what I'm going to do is, they have no grass type, so I'm going to lead off with Amoonguss. I'm going to bring Chi-Yu out as a nuke for the start. Then I'm going to bring our Chien-Pao for the likes of the Fluttermane, and also to take care of the Tyranitar. And then I think I'll bring Fluttermane of our own. I think Fluttermane of our own will be a good idea. Does pretty well against their team if you can get rid of certain things. So we'll do that, and just kind of go from there. And the battle begins. So Amnesty's going to lead off with Fluttermane and Tyranitar as we led off with our Amoonguss and Chi-Yu. So it's not the worst matchup in the world. Tyranitar kind of puts a stop to Chi-Yu a little bit. But obviously we've got the Amoonguss with the Rage Powder, so we should be golden here. Kind of want to go straight for the Rage Powder. And then we'll go for the Rage Powder with Amoonguss, and then we'll go straight for a... no, actually, no. There's no point in doing this. I think if we go for a Spore on the Fluttermane, then we switch out, and no. I think the best thing to do is probably to Rage Powder, and then get a free switch in with whatever we want. I'm thinking Chien-Pao's a good one, so I'm going to go Chien-Pao. That's the tactic I'm going with right now. So we'll withdraw Chi-Yu. We'll go into the Chien-Pao. I'm pretty sure Amoonguss can sponge any hit these two want to throw at it. So we'll bring Chien-Pao in, the cat, and then we'll see what happens here. More of a weasel, really. So we'll go for a Rage Powder. There we go. Rage Powder comes through. It's going to make every one of the Pokemon on the field attack Amoonguss. They go for a Mystical Fire. Really going to hurt a little bit. Not too much, but it lowers our special attack, which is unfortunate. As they go for a Stone Edge now with the Tyranitar, and they're going to take out Amoonguss. So Amoonguss goes down, but we got a free switch with Chien-Pao. I guess in hindsight I could have led with Chien-Pao, but please bear in mind before commenting saying how trash I am. Please understand that I am a single 6v6 player. I am not a VGC player at all. So we've got a couple of options here. I'm thinking Fluttermane, so I'm going to go Fluttermane. Fluttermane can do a lot of damage to a lot of the team, so we'll go Fluttermane real quick. There we go. Now Chien-Pao is the fastest on the field unless they're Choice Scarfed Fluttermane, in which case we're kind of boned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Moonblast the Tyranitar first, and then with Chien-Pao I'm going to go for the Ice Spinner on the Fluttermane. I think that's the best thing to go for. I'm pretty sure Chien-Pao's Ice Spinner should KO the Fluttermane. If it was 66 it would. It does KO the Fluttermane, which is great. Down goes the Fluttermane, so we're off to a good start. And then we can go for a nice and powerful Moonblast right now with Fluttermane on the Tyranitar and take it out. That's brilliant. Tyranitar had no chance. I thought Tyranitar with his special defense boost in the sand would actually be able to take that, but I guess not. So Chien-Pao and Fluttermane combination is absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. So in comes the Hydreigon. So Hydreigon, we're probably going to see Terra here. I would say Terra. So let's go ahead and see what else they bring. They bring Iron Valiant. So Iron Valiant and the Hydreigon are in. So got a couple of options here. We're probably going to see Terra steal Hydreigon, right? So they're going to boost their attack with their booster energy, which is great. We're going to go for a Moonblast on the Iron Valiant, and then we're going to go for a Sacred Sword on the Hydreigon just in case it's Terra Steel. Or do we protect the Scout? Might be a good idea to protect the Scout. No, because Iron Valiant needs to go down. Otherwise we lose. So I'm going to go for the Sacred Sword on the Hydreigon. Either way, if they protect, they protect. They don't protect, they're going to go ahead and take the Sacred Sword like a champ. They have got the Focus Sash. Looks like, no, that wasn't Focus Sash at all. Either way, the Iron Valiant goes down, and I'm happy with that. The Hydreigon goes down to the Sandstorm, so that's a W right there. So we're off to a good start. Let's see how this happens. They go for a Fire Blast. They miss the Fire Blast, which is unfortunate, but what can you do about that? Not that it matters, because in the grand scheme of things, the Hydreigon's going to go down to the Sandstorm, and that's going to be the game. Unless it's got safety goggles. Does that help? Doesn't help, no. Never mind. The Hydreigon goes down. That's going to be the game. So on to the next one. Okay, our next battle is against Zoe. They've got a pretty fire-looking team. They've got a Torkoal, Jumpluff, a Fluttermane, Great Tusk, Chien-Pao, and a Kingambit. So already I'm seeing Chien-Pao is going to put in a lot of work here. I feel like they lead off with a Torkoal, so I'm going to lead with Chi-Yu again. And I'm going to lead with Chien-Pao. I'm going to go all-out offensive. And then looking at the rest of the team, I'd say Fluttermane puts a lot of work in, but it gets KO'd by the Chien-Pao, and it also doesn't do too much against the Kingambit. So I'm thinking Dragonite, because the low kick will hurt the Kingambit quite a lot. And I'm also thinking about Urshifu, because of the critical hits. If there's some team, maybe it's not the best one to bring. I mean, Fluttermane could still put in some absolute work. I mean, the Great Tusk is right there. I think we need a special attacker that isn't Chi-Yu. No. I think we go Urshifu. My guts tell me to go Urshifu, so that's what I'm doing. And the battle begins. So Zoe's going to lead off with Torkoal and Jumpluff. So they actually ran out of time when selecting their Pokemon, so that's unfortunate for them. Look at us on the beach there. That's great. So Sword of Ruin is going to be coming through, and so are the Beads of Ruin. We're pretty golden when it comes to a matchup here because we should be outspeeding everything on the team. So let's go ahead and go for a Dark Pulse on Torkoal, and then we'll go for a nice and powerful Ice Spinner on the Jumpluff. There's no real reason not to. I have a feeling this opponent's going to be a bit AFK, so we might end up skipping this battle if it does. They go for a Sleep Powder. They have obviously got Chlorophyll in the Sun. Makes a lot of sense. Fair enough. That's fair enough. So they're going to fall asleep to Chien-Pao. Chien-Pao isn't able to do anything because it's asleep, which is unfortunate. But Chi-Yu, on the other hand, can go straight for that Dark Pulse and straight up nearly take out the Torkoal, which is crazy good. And that's crazy good. So Torkoal does flinch, which is great. No eruptions or anything like that from there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to protect. And then I'm going to try and wake up with the Chien-Pao this turn. That's what I'm going to do. So let's go for Protect first. There we go. Protect comes through. And they should go for a Sleep Powder, really, on the Chi-Yu. Yeah, they do go for the Sleep Powder on the Chi-Yu. So the Jumpluff strat is pretty gruesome. And so let's see if Chien-Pao wakes up. It wakes up, which is great. Go for an Ice Spinner, which is great. Take out the Jumpluff, hopefully. We do take out the Jumpluff, which is great. Jumpluff goes down. I love shiny Jumpluff. It's such a cool Pokemon. Very, very pink. I like pink. Pink's cool. So they go for an Overheat with the Torkoal. That's going to take out Chien-Pao, no doubt there. Jokes. We've got Focus Sash, so we're all good. We're all good. They fought. They were wrong. They were wrong. Chien-Pao doesn't go down to that. Chien-Pao does not go down to that. So we've got both Pokemon awake. The Jumpluff effectively didn't do much, but they have got the Eject Pack, which knocks you out if you get a stat drop, which is interesting to note. In comes Fluttermane, the shiny Fluttermane, nice and shiny, gotta love it. Gets that Photosynthesis boost, which is going to boost its speed, which is terrifying. As they're going to bring in the next Pokemon, which is going to be Torkoal again. So fair enough, Torkoal comes straight back in. That's fair enough. I'm thinking Heat Wave on the Chi-Yu, and then we go Sucker Punch on the Fluttermane. I think that's probably the best way to go about this. So let's see how that plays out for us. They're actually going to Terra. What type are they going to Terra into, and what Pokemon are they going to Terra? Let's see. Let's find out. They're going to Terra Fluttermane into a Water type. So interesting choice. Water type in a Sun team. And very interesting choice. It means they can take the Heat Wave from the Chi-Yu that much better. But that depends on whether or not they can take this Sucker Punch from Chien-Pao. So they go for a Helping Hand, telling me they have attacked, which is good to note. We go for the Sucker Punch. Let's see if we can get the KO. We get the KO with a critical hit. Oh, no. Then again, in the last game, we one-shot with Ice Spinner without a critical hit. So I have a feeling that Sucker Punch didn't count because Fluttermane has paper thin defenses. So Torkoal goes down to the Heat Wave, which is great. And it looks like this team that we've got is really solid, like really powerful. It seems to be doing the job. Definitely seems to be doing the job. So in comes Great Tusk, the once well-trained. Now, that's awesome, nice and shiny, gotta love it. They get the Photosynthesis boost, which is probably going to boost speed. No, not speed. It won't boost speed because then you'd have to have your attack really low. Not a lot of people do that. So we'll go for the old Heat Wave Ice Spinner combination right now. And this should finish off the Great Tusk. We should be outspeeding. We should be fine. Earthquake, the Choice Scarfed? Oh, the Choice Scarf Great Tusk. That's just kind of threw me through a loop there. And they've got the Photosynthesis and attack as well. So Chien-Pao goes down. So does Chi-Yu, but it's fine because they're locked in, and we have got the Dragonite right here. We've also got the Urshifu. we should be golden here. So let's go into Urshifu and Dragonite real quick. Again, Dragonite's immune to the Earthquake, which means they've already lost. So Dragonite can come in now looking awesome. There we go. Dragonite comes through. We can just go straight for the Outrage. There's no real reason not to. And then with Urshifu, we can go straight for the Surging Strikes and go for the Great Tusk. We should be able to handle this. I'm pretty sure Urshifu can take an Earthquake. If it can't, again, they're locked into Earthquake. There we go. We can take an Earthquake, no problem. So Surging Strike comes through. It's a critical hit, obviously, every single time. There we go. And then one more time should do it. And hopefully this weakens it enough to the point where Choice Band and Outrage can definitely take out the Great Tusk. So let's see how this works out for us. So we're going to hit 3 times, all 3 with crits, meant to be like that. Outrage comes through from Dragonite, and down goes the Great Tusk. Panic averted, nothing to worry about. And that's going to be the game. So let's move on to the next one. Okay, our next opponent, Paris, has got a pretty cool looking team. They've got a Vivillon, Tinglu, Orthworm, Greninja, Chien-Pao, and an Iron Hands. I like it. That's pretty cool. So we're repping the Greninja in VGC, which is nice. Not seen that one before. Looking at the matchup, I would say we can probably safely lead off with Amoonguss and then Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu does a lot of damage to their entire team, especially if we're with Amoonguss and we've got that Rage Powder. Then in the back, I'd like to have a good attacker to take out the Greninja if we gets a bit too trigger happy. So I'm going to go for the Chien-Pao with the Focus Sash. And then after that, I'm thinking Greninja or Dragonite. Dragonite could come through, or Fluttermane. I'm thinking Fluttermane is going to be best, so I'm going to go ahead and bring Fluttermane, and then we'll just kind of go from there. And the battle begins, so it looks like we're in a new place this time. They're going to lead off with the Quadjutsu and the Vivillon. So this is not a bad matchup for us at all. And Vivillon can go ahead and just Sleep Powder us if it really wants to, but it won't work on the Amoonguss. So if we Rage Powder right now, which I'm going to do, and then go straight for a Heat Wave, that should do a lot of damage to both members of their team. So we go for the Rage Powder. There we go. It's going to take some attention away from them. They're going to become the center of attention. As we go for the Heat Wave, we outspeed both of them, interestingly enough. Nearly taking out the Vivillon, which is great. Thanks to a Focus Sash, I believe that is. Yeah, Focus Sash is there. As the Greninja takes half, which is crazy damage. Crazy damage. So they go for a Taunt, so that's interesting. So Taunt's going to come through, making them a Dark type. Now, however, this isn't too bad because we know Chi-Yu outspeeds these two somehow. Don't know how the Greninja gets outsped. But they go for a Sleep Powder. It's obviously not going to work on the Amoonguss. We can just go ahead and go straight for a... Do we switch here? I think we switch into Fluttermane just because there's nothing the Amoonguss can do, and we like to reset the Taunt. And then we go for a Heat Wave here. Heat Wave should definitely take out both of them. We know we outspeed, which is great. So we're going to withdraw our Amoonguss. We're going to go into Fluttermane. Fluttermane should definitely be okay here. There we go. Fluttermane comes through. Nice and powerful. Now we just don't want to miss the Heat Wave. That's all we need to do. Not miss the Heat Wave. As the Vivillon avoids the Heat Wave. Down goes the Greninja, so that's good. So we've got the Greninja out of the way. Now something's going to get put to sleep with a Sleep Powder, and it's probably going to be Chi-Yu, the poor little fish. The poor little fish. So they go for a Tailwind. Interesting. So Tailwind Vivillon, that's a pretty cool one. And the thing about VGC that I really love is that you see really out-of-the-box strats and other stuff like that. And I'm sure for you VGC veterans out there, you're probably thinking Tailwind is out of the box. Listen, right? You're talking to a guy who's been playing, you know... you're talking to a guy who's been playing 6v6. There's a lot of standard sets in 6v6. You didn't know. So, anyway, we're in a good position here. We can either Moonblast the Iron Hands or Dazzling Gleam. I think Dazzling Gleam is the best way to go about this, and then Heat Wave. And the reason being is because the, well, he's going to fake me out anyway, which is fine by me. Sleep Powder comes through on the Vivillon, the Fluttermane, which is really unfortunate. But the Tailwind only has a couple more turns left of be used, so not too fussed about that, to be honest with you. What I want to do, though, is I need the Fluttermane to wake up. I really need it to wake up, so what we'll do is we'll go for a Dazzling Gleam again, just in case we wake up, and with Chi-Yu, we'll go for a Protect, because chances are they're going to target the Chi-Yu. So we go for a Protect, and hopefully we can get rid of a Tailwind turn. Hopefully we can get rid of Tailwind. Full stop. So they go for another Sleep Powder. Obviously, that's not going to work. We've kind of foiled their plans there, as hopefully the Iron Hands attacks us as well. Fluttermane is obviously fast asleep, which is fine. I think Fluttermane outspeeds Iron Hands even with the Tailwind up, so we don't have to worry too much about Iron Hands, really. So there we go. They got to Belly Drum up, which is terrifying. Very terrifying, but at the same time, we should wake up this turn, and even if we don't, we got the Heat Wave in the back there. They're probably going to put us to sleep because they have Compound Eyes, which makes their moves more accurate. So Sleep Powder is probably going to hit, but did we see the Tailwind pitter out there? We didn't. So Vivillon's going to come through with the Sleep Powder. Hopefully, Fluttermane can wake up here. That's what we'd like to see. Fast asleep. Great. So unfortunately, Fluttermane is fast asleep, and hopefully the Iron Hands decided to take out the Chi-Yu here and not the Fluttermane. It does take out the Fluttermane, which is unfortunate. What can you do about that, though? Not a lot, really. So, Tailwind should petter out. It has petted out, which is good. We're going to go into our Chien-Pao once again. Chien-Pao comes through with that big cat growl. I love it. Sword of Ruin comes through, and then we're just going to go for a nice and powerful... I'm thinking Protect. I'm thinking Protect so we can see if Chi-Yu can wake up here. I don't want Chien-Pao put to sleep, and I know that's what the Vivillon's going to do. Or is it? I think we're actually better off going for an Ice Spinner on the Vivillon to get the KO, and then go for a Heat Wave with the Chi-Yu. So we'll go for an Ice Spinner. We'll take out the Vivillon real quick. There we go. Wasn't planning on getting put to sleep or having another Tailwind set up. That'd be awkward. So Vivillon goes down. And then Chi-Yu should wake up. It does wake up, which is great. We go for the Heat Wave. Should take out the Iron Hands. It does take out the Iron Hands. So now, I believe they have one Pokemon left. And I'm not sure what they plan on doing against this team. Not sure what they plan on doing against this team. They might DC. I think they might DC, to be honest with you. So, Baojiang comes in, which is going to be their Chien-Pao. Now, we still have Focus Sash in check. So, we should be alright. They could be Focus Sash as well. Don't get me wrong. So I'm going to go for a Dark Pulse just so we don't miss the Heat Wave. And then we're going to go for a Sacred Sword with our Chien-Pao. And like I said, if they attack our Chien-Pao, they win the speed tie. It's not that big of a deal. So Sacred Sword comes through, takes them out. They're not Focus Sashed. And that's going to be the game. So GG. Very well GG to all three of my opponents today. It's been pretty fun. We've got 3 victories, which is great just for starting out. And we'll have a look at our stats real quick in a second. And there we go. We're up to rank 3 beginner tier. Thanks to that victory. We're halfway there to Pokeball tier, which is great. So we're off to a good start. We're at 3-0. Thank you for watching today's session. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, subscribe, all that wonderful stuff. And with that being said, I'll see you all in a bit.